Hello, peeps, and welcome back to the podcast. I'm your host, Joel Two and Love, here with your AEW Dynamite review for this past Wednesday, July 26th, 2023 edition here on the channel. Now, so we are a month away from AEW All In, and then a week later, All Out in Chicago. Now, we'll see. So, it's taking place on the 27th. So, as it stands right now, after Collision Saturday, because that's what I'm guessing for tomorrow. After tomorrow, I'm guessing the build for Collision or All In will really kick in or really start because, well, presumably the split will happen with MJF and Adam Cole, and then, MJF said himself in a promo backstage when he and Adam Cole were getting interviewed that win, lose, or draw, he's going to give him a rematch for the AEW World title. So, that may come in play as far as All In. I mean, we'll see. But, you have your biggest show, and you have pay-per-view right after, literally a week after. And one match, basically, has been so far built. Well, we'll see on Rampage, right? Because there'll be a tag team battle royal deciding for a tag team title show, so we'll see. But, a month away, and no matches really announced yet. I mean, Darby, we'll see. But Dynamite wasn't a very good show. I think most can agree. But at last, we will review it, get to all we can, and yeah. We'll see. So, Dynamite started off Orange Cassidy Vs AR Fox for the AEW International Championship. This was a good match, but again, Darby Allin did have asked Orange Cassidy for a favor in this match, but AR Fox hasn't really been used much. I mean, It's difficult. Just, I mean, it was okay, the angle that happened, but, I mean, it's hard to care. Honestly, this show felt like a Fallout show. As in, you know, Blood and Guts was the big thing last week. Big thing. With um, the Blackpool Comic Club and the Elite. And obviously that storyline was brewing, and this show just felt like a Fallout show. But like I said, the match was okay. You know, had some back and forth. So Fox, he had a nice moonsault off the post to Orange on the outside. They traded stunners for a bit. Fox hit a twisting suplex for a near fall. Back and forth, they hit a double neck breaker for a double down. Fox then hit a nice senton to the outside, and then hit a senton off top to Orange for another 2 count. Fox then hit a splash up top, followed with a DT for a 2. Train back and forth. Fox went for a 450 or a 630. Miss it. Uh, Nonetheless, finally, Orange Cassidy all of a sudden got the mousetrap and got the win. So, yeah. But, yeah. So, after match, so Orange Cassidy does this when a lot of baby faces fight. So, he gave them his shades, and they pose, and then right as Orange Cassidy turned around, Fox took out his shades, broke them, and then nailed him in the face with a forearm, decked him. He looked surprised. What he did, Darby was not too pleased. And yeah. So, any events, Fox just basically walked off after that. So, pretty much. Um, Look, with Orange Cass, not denying it was a good match. I'm not denying that this title reign of his has been good. But I can tell, it's coming to a point where it just feels like Orange Cassidy gotta drop that title. At some point, people are not gonna. I just don't know. I mean, I get it because of his gimmick, because of the size, whichever you want to say. He's had a good title reign, and we'll see how much longer it lasts. Chris Jericho and Don Callis, they were interviewed backstage, and Don Callis continues to poke at the heartstrings of Jericho as they had a picture, or he had a picture of Bad News Allin from the heavens looking down, watching them as Callis and Jericho pose together. I mean, yeah, I don't know. We shall see. We shall see. It's definitely all but confirmed that Jericho is going to join the Don Callis family. But seemingly now the JAS has been caught in the middle of it. It's tough. Oh, and John Moxley did attack Orange Cassidy after that match. Yeah. It's strange, but confined to the main event. So, Jack Perry was in the ring. Again, Beethoven. Still wildly hearing it for pro wrestling. He walks out with the yeah. So, Blackpool Comic Club, or whatever. Anyway, this how I felt about this episode of Dynamite. I was a little, just surprised how well I cared. But Jack Perry, who was out there with this title, the FTW title, and I mean, it's just like this segment felt weird, Taz was chuckling, Jack Perry talked trash about Hook, talked trash about the Legends of ECW, asked for someone to step up, and then all of a sudden, we see Jerry Allin, who of course is a producer backstage and a trainer for AEW. You know, of course, ECW alumni Jerry Lynn, he was out there and basically said, well, continue to toe the line, someone's going to beat you up. He didn't specifically say that was going to be him. So, who knows for next week? But I don't know. Seriously, I pitched an idea of Jack Perry. You really want to get heat. I mean, he did say that when he won the title, it was finally recognized. It's been recognized for a while. If he took a trash can, threw it in the trash, something like that. With Taz out there, it's certainly been a way to garner heat. Instead of this, I mean, I don't know. We'll see. Britt Baker. She was backstage before a match with Taya Valkyrie, which I know got some riveting reviews. Riveting. And feedback. But, nonetheless, it was, yeah. Brought up her nickname as Baddest Bitch on the Block, former AEW Women's Champion. Need to remind Taya that it's still, her yard, her place, whichever. We had Pac versus Gravity. I didn't feel, again, we're a month away from Allin. We already have a lot of guys on the roster that have trouble making TV time, even with Collision. And apparently Gravity is Bandito's brother. Either way, this match, little to care. I mean, just little to care. It just, I don't know. It felt okay. It felt okay, if I'm being honest. But anyway, the match was alright. Bandito had some decent moves. Yep, excuse me again, but Bandito's brother, Gravity. But match was fine. Did get some offense in. Did Gravity. There's my mic. But get the point. Aside from a slam and then a splash on the outside, Gravity didn't really have much. But Pac won here with a top rope brainbuster and then the brutalizer, which Gravity won. So there you go. Or Pac won, yeah. So there you go. you know, Pac, of course, originally when he was Adrian Neville, NXT and WWE, the thing about him was he was the man that gravity forgot. So, hint, hint, this match was basically a light joke by AEW, in which I think gravity didn't forget Pac after this match. You know, look, on one hand, you're disappointed that they couldn't have done more with Pac or given someone better on Wednesday. But alas, Pac, until 2 weeks ago, was on a hiatus. Ali's back. Was in blood and guts last week. Was in a great match, which I had to watch, against Claudio Castagnoli for the Ring of Honor World Title on Friday at Death Before Dishonor. So, blood and guts, that match, and the Blackpool Comedy Club were watching the match as Pac abandoned them last week. So, that's something to keep in mind. See if the story continues. Pac versus Jon Moxley, Pac versus Wheeler Yuta, and Moxley and Claudio fought the Lucha Brothers and best friends in the main event. So, Death Triangle, that factor may be coming to a head as well. Which, if we get those matches, then don't complain. So, then we had MJF and Adam Cole. Pre-taped from last week. So, MJF and Cole obviously have been great together. As a partnership, as a duo, MJF took the microphone, mocked Cash and Dax. Specifically, Dax. He mocked him, talking about his family, talking about his daughter, talking about his wife. It was hilarious. And then claimed that he'll hit him so hard that they'll cough up CM Punk's jockstrap. So, again, MJF mentioning CM Punk, Starks referenced the red bag on Saturday. May perhaps get MJF versus Punk at some point in the future. We have to, it seems. So, next up, we had a little rebuttal from FTR as they responded. Well, actually, first, so Roddy confronted MJF in their segment you know, basically telling them to get away. Um, Adam Cole was trying to be the olive branch, separating them. MJF left, saying, but Cole said Roddy's being crazy. He's got to go talk to him, MJF, straighten out. And then at the start, Cole told MJF boundaries. And then Roddy was irate. And then Adam Cole said to Roddy, boundaries. Roddy said, you're making a big mistake. We know the turn is coming from MJF. The question is how we're going to get to both scenarios. Because MJF said win, lose, or draw that he's going to give him Cole another shot at the AEW World title. Seems like that's where we're leaning towards Allin. I mean, the only other guy I could see MJF facing for the world title at Allin is CM Punk. But the thing is, with All Out being the following week in Chicago, I think CM Punk's gotta have some factor into the world title situation or something. So that MJF and Cole have been entertaining very much, been hilarious throughout this run. I mean, it's on. They can't win. I mean, they could, but they would be transitional champions. But the likely scenario is that FTR beats Cole and MJF on Saturday. The question is, how do we get to the turn? And Roddy, how do we get to that feud possibly between Adam Cole and Roderick Strong? That's interesting. But we'll see. Swerve Strickland versus Darby Allin. Definitely the match tonight. Besides the previous segments, I mean, hour 2 definitely was a step up from hour 1, in my opinion. But yeah, this match was good. We know how Darby and Swerve are and their chemistry, and Swerve, this was unique of a finish. So what it means, so they had the steps up on the outside. Darby cleared them, but Swerve caught Darby in the side of the head with the last supper, or the last call, kick to the back of the side of the head. which got the advantage back for Swerve. He got a suplex back in the ring for near fall. Then they exchanged some cradles, some pins. Finally, Darby walked in the Last Supper, but Swerve managed to kick out. He even asked Prince Nana. That was a 2, right? So, Swerve caught Darby with a big knee when he went for a suicida on the outside. Then back in ring, went for the Swerve stomp, but only for near fall. Darby hit a stunner, which got the advantage back for Darby. Then he was on top, and a spot that needs to be cleared by management. Certainly happened. As Swerve hit a Death Valley driver off the top to Darby. Again, it looked brutal. I mean, we are definitely seeing less a bit with these banned moves, but we're still obviously seeing them. So, then AR Fox, who obviously had a episode with Darby at the front of the show, or at the start, over the what happened at the end of the Orange Cassidy match. From out of nowhere, he's in the crowd, shoves Darby into the post, and back in the ring, he beats the count, but aside the referee's attention, Swerve hits the JML driver on a compromised Darby, and Swerve gets the victory. Now, I'm curious because, well, Darby is set up as the only real official kind of match set up for the two events so far. Darby Allin versus Chris Gates or Luchasaurus for the TNT title. So there you go. And he loses to Swerve. Now it wasn't clean, but I'm curious, Darby, Swerve, got Nick Wayne, who Swerve picked up a victory over his debut a couple weeks ago. So yeah, I'm curious to see what dynamic AR Fox. This is not great for Darby, I would say. I mean, if you want to push up Nick Wayne, okay. Darby is, again, very over with the crowd. So, I mean, I guess he can take a loss, but if you want him to look strong going into All Out for the TNT title, you have to start soon. Certainly. Now, again, we have 4 weeks of Dynamite and Collision to go over, but Yeah. So some form of a tag team match probably is lined up for All In. We'll see, but I don't know. So after match, AR Fox aligned with the Mogul Embassy, who trades around with Ring of Honor and Dynamite, so I don't know. I mean, we don't see him much, so that's the issue. But I don't know. Again, we got. If they don't start building next week more and start going over matches and feuds, and then I'll be really upset or annoyed. JS backstage. Yeah, everyone except for Sammy Guevara and Daniel Garcia and Jake Hager. So they were waiting outside of locker room, and we had Matt Menard, Angelo Parker, and Jay in timeout. Again, congrats. A pregnant timeout. Uh, not all the way pregnant, but still looks good. And so, anyways, they were inside the locker room, and they were eyeing the portrait that Don Callis had put of Bad News Allin, Don Callis, and Chris Jericho. And JS talked about, well, you asked us to appreciate you, and you haven't appreciated us. So he walked out, basically telling him to make a decision. And last line, fence, Jericho told Daddy Magic Matt Menard, you think this easy for me? And Menard was like, yeah, make a choice. So again, this whole Jericho back and forth between the two, we'll see. I don't know, but we'll see. Look, but for the 200th edition of Dynamite next week, we are going to get Chris Jericho and Takeshita versus Dan Garcia and Sammy Guevara. So, more going to lead into this story between Callis, the JS, and Jericho. I saw a rumor about potentially Ospreay versus Jericho at Allin. That's not. I mean, 5-10 years ago, I would have thought both in their prime. That would be a hell of a match, but I mean, it wouldn't be. And be unique on paper, but I don't know. If Ospreay is gonna do something at All In, which I really hope he does, just because the Englishman, he even said he's free on that date. So, but if Ospreay's doing anything, it's gonna be involving Omega. And do they save that trilogy perhaps for a later date? Because Omega Ospreay 3 would be an attraction. Some way, maybe 2 out of 3 falls or something. Or some sort of tag team match. We'll see. But I'm definitely more pumped about next week because I know in some way they'll bring it with the tag team match and then the triple threat, which I'll get into later. But yeah. So, Britt Baker for Taya Valkyrie. This was not great. Best I can describe it. It just chemistry's off. The matches with Taya and Tony Storm and Sky Blue were decent, but yeah, this match felt off. Not gonna put it all on Brits, but yeah, it certainly wasn't great. In the end, Britt won with the lockjaw. Taya tapped out. Simple. So, yeah. What else can you say? So, main event. We had the Best Friends versus Blackpool Comedy Club's John Moxley, Claudio Castagnoli versus the Lucha Brothers. It is great to see the Lucha Brothers back on TV. Now that Aussie Open, who also won at Death Before Dishonor, are now the new tag team champions. It's great for them to have Aussie or Lucha Brothers back on TV because, again, when you need more champions for our competition for tag team division, it certainly helps having a team like Lucha Brothers. So, match was solid for what it was. Basically a triple threat chaotic main event. Started on near the stage, fighting towards the crowd, then towards ringside, Finally back in the ring. Penta, you know, hit Flurry. Claudio and Moxley were in the ring. They hit almost like a press into a cutter on Trent. Then Phoenix went crazy. It's also really good, especially because all due respect to the Lucha guys that are also on AEW, but they aren't quite as thrilling as Rey Fenix. So, certainly appreciate some more. So, Chuck Taylor got a roll up for a near fall. And then they hit double pile drivers on Lucha Brothers for a near fall. Penta and Made in Japan for 2. Orange Cassidy, because Moxley attacked him earlier and hit a Death Rider, was out for revenge. So he and Moxley had a scuffle towards the alleyway, and that occupied Mox while Lucha Brothers in the ring. Penta hit a soft pile driver. Well, Trent hit ground zero, the reverse tombstone, on Claudio, but he was not the legal man. So Lucha Brothers got back in the ring, and Penta hit package pile driver on Trent for the win, and the Lucha Brothers win their return. Great to see. Moxley back in the ring. There was, again, brawl towards all teams at ringside. And it was announced at the end of the show that there will be triple threat, anything goes match next week between Moxley, Trent, and Penta. 3 of the guys from this match. Anything goes. Should be unique for the 200th edition of Dynamite. And they called them AEW OGs. So, I guess that works. Little things. You got the Blackpool Comic Club. Seemingly, they're going to be feuding with Death Triangle. Which, with Penta and Phoenix now back on AEW, that would be a hell of a feud. And then, Brian comes back. Said it was like 6 to 8 weeks with his forearm. So he may be back for Wembley. Brian versus Penta, Brian versus Phoenix, Brian versus Pac. That would also be fun. So, we'll see. Like I said, still not really of a build-up towards Allin yet. But still a month away. Still got number of shows to build towards both events. So, we'll see. If I know what I think about Tony Khan, he'll probably listen to what's been going around, and he'll probably think, okay, next week we gotta buckle up, and start to build towards our biggest show of the year. So or of all. So we'll see. But anyways, guys, thank you for joining me back on the podcast today. Guys, like to see you. Click that like button. Leave a thumbs up. Helps out the video and helps me out. And of course, subscribe if you guys want to see more of the videos on the channel. Which, of course, Collision I posted earlier this week. I'll be back tomorrow for Collision, or actually Sunday for your Collision review. So keep on that. But nonetheless, thank you guys, and see you guys later this weekend. So, and peace.